What's happening, everyone? Just going to do a bit of a market outlook for the week, and we'll go through and have a look. I will explain today's outlook at the end of every pair, so I'll go down to the 50-minute and have a look rather than do two separate videos. I'm losing my voice, so bear with me. I'll also have a video out over the next couple of days explaining all the trades I took last week. So I ended up 3%, missed a couple of opportunities, which I'll walk through, and doing kind of like a weekly recap. So stay tuned for that. But let's jump into it. Hopefully my voice isn't too croaky. And we'll have a little look-see. So 4 hour on GU, we've come up to this high, and the supply area we've then pushed down, obviously, from there. So given this was a huge liquidity take, and we've kind of confirmed that as a bearish range, it is very, very 50-50 at the moment. And I think this week we'll decide whether we take out the high or whether we take out the low. We came and took some hourly equal highs that we had marked out at the start of next week as a reaction from this point, and it hasn't followed through it as of yet. So given that's the case, I think today we'll actually find out if we break this high. If we break this high again, I think buys are on. If we don't and we continue to trickle down, I'll be looking to continue to sell, but I'll explain that as we get to that lower time frame anyway. So on the hourly, like I said, hourly equal highs taken, and then we've come into this area of supply. Very, very clean. This has obviously had a big push down. We have more or less induced some liquidity, pushed up, pulled down, and broken again. So we've got like two little internal breaks here, but still not enough juice to break this high. So this may treat itself as a supply to come and push price down. You think like 15-minute inducement, trapping in buyers, come take them, and possibly even come down to this point to get that retracement. But more or less, we're very, very 50-50 and very, very sideways after that news release. And after that movement. So 15-minute coming down to the intraday type outlook. Like I said, we've come in, we broke this low, we pushed up. We didn't end up breaking the low again. We just made equal highs and pushed up. So more or less, if we break this high again here, and this will be basically what I'm looking for today. If we break this high again here, I will only be looking for buys. If we pull down and break this and get something like that, I will be looking to sell, targeting these equal lows, targeting that bit of liquidity that's sitting there, and more or less trying to swing this position to take out the lows to possibly come back up. But I believe if we're going to trickle down today, there's a good chance we actually take out these lows. In terms of a place to buy back up, you've got this area of demand. It has been mitigated, but there still is some partially unmitigated institutional areas in here that we could look to buy up. But like I said, if we trickle down, I'm going to keep selling. If we get that break there, little internal range, continue to buy, targeting through this wick, which will be used as a weak supply. So if we break again, this will more or less be used as a weak supply. I'll be looking for a continuation entry in here to come and take those highs, possibly even target those weekly highs and hold all the way up, because this was equal high take, which more or less for me is more or less of that trapping area when you take equal highs like that. So that's kind of intraday for today on GU and the weekly. On EU, EU actually tells a bit more of a story because we've got a bigger range, but we've started to slow down. We have taken an hourly low here, so we had an hourly range that sits here. We've now taken that low and begin to had a big reaction to the upside. More or less, we've got this liquidity here, so we've got break, retest a bit of liquidity sitting in here. I want that gone. From there, I believe is where we will find whether or not we, the same as G, whether or not we take the lows or continue higher. So that'll gauge me on what the go is. Once we take these highs, it's either sells. Once we take these highs, it's either continuation buys, something like that. Like that. Okay, continue up. So basic entry models I have in my system, but down to the 15-minute, as you can see, this area of supply holds a lot of liquidity, holds a lot of validity to sell from, and it's not getting that reaction. So we have induced, and now we've started to push down. What we've done is we've actually created internal 15-minute ranges. So we've got a bit of liquidity sitting here with a bullish demand here out of a supply. So we've got a supply to demand that sits in here. Coming into this session, once we take this low, I'm quite happy to buy. Once we take this low and continue and possibly take this low, that's where I'll continue sell. I don't believe we'll take this high and continue. It is a possibility given the liquidity it holds, but I'll be looking for confirmations from here to confirm whether or not it's looking like sellers are in charge or if buyers are in charge. So buyers anywhere under here, once you start getting down here, I believe sellers will just be in control from this area. More or less, that does get a lot of sellers in. It builds a really good area for sell orders to be sitting in that we could come target there. So we'll see what happens today. Like I said, very 50-50. We'll find out this week if we're continuing higher or continuing lower. Okay, in that daily, weekly range, we've had that pullback now on the daily, so we can kind of use that. Now there is Euro news all day today, red folder, so that'll come at random times, more or less like the opening of sessions. So I will be a bit hesitant on placing trades around those times, unless they're really clear A+ entries. I'll more or less be sitting out today, letting the market develop for the week, given it is only Monday. And I don't like when there's red folder all day. Okay, it kind of goes against a bit of my rules. So I will proceed today with some caution, and I suggest others do the same, depending on your strategy and how you approach the market, of course. AU, we can jump out on the 4 minute right here. Beautiful. Basically on AU, we've pushed up into this area here. Lots of liquidity built to the upside. Now we've pushed back down. Internally, we're actually getting internal confirmations to confirm we're going to take out this high, which will line up with the other pairs, which is quite clean. But we've got more or less equal lows here to come target. So I was targeting this a couple of weeks ago, and I still believe it's valid to come target. Just like EU and GU, we'll find out in probably the next day, whether or not we're continuing lower to continue higher, or if we're just continuing higher and we're not going to get that take of major liquidity below us. Nothing to really more to add to the 4 hour. I'll jump down to the hourly. We've come into this area of demand here after taking these equal lows in here. Very nice. 15-minute structure, 15-minute structure, 5-minute structure. Very clean lows. We are reacting out of this supply area here, but we've still got so much imbalance to fill in that point. Given this has generated some liquidity to the upside here, trend line, and different retail type of entries, we've actually had lower time frame confirmations that make sense to come and take this to then sell. Okay, so it's actually, AU is one of the cleanest players this week by far, coming into the week anyway. So mitigation, more 15-minute outlook. What have we got? Hourly and 4 hourly didn't give us too much, given we're very sideways the last week. So I've kind of got my areas I'm targeting, and I'll use the 15-minute as a confluence to try and capture those trades, rather than have a bigger picture outlook on my hourly and my 4 hourly, like I've been able to with EU and GU. So given this, we've got break, coming into an area of supply, but it's a weak supply, coming into that area, break, take a retest, and now push. So I'm happy to buy from anywhere here, and whether that's right here or here, happy to go. I believe once we take the low, this thing is off limits. I'm not going to try and buy, and this will kind of play into either coming into this extreme area here, which holds risk given we didn't break external and given we've got equal lows. So I believe if we start to trickle off, we're coming for this here, continuation sells other go, and that's where that 4 hour time frame kind of comes in, and where we go from there. So that is all from me today. Any questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll go from there. Stay tuned for that weekly recap video that's coming very soon on all my trades last week. And I've also got a couple more trade breakdowns to get through as well. So let's have a good week. Any questions in the comments, and we'll get rolling.